Now, how the heck do we get there? Is the real question here. Because this is going to really bug me. Or it could be a case like Isabelle where we have to come back later. Oh, this is really going to bug me. I'm incredibly tempted to look up a guide because I don't want to leave an area unfinished. But it seems like we've cleared out the forest as best we can. Problem is, if I do look up a guide, I'll inevitably spoil every single fighter in this area. I suppose we have the Triforce of Courage now. Wait, do we need all three? Maybe we need to get... no, I have a feeling it will unlock Ganondorf after completing this area, because I have a feeling that Ganon is the boss. I do know Ganon is a boss in this mode. Matthew. Golden Sun series, not Matthew from Fire Emblem, obviously. That's the main Matthew that I know. So, I believe this guy is from Dark Dawn and is the descendant of one of the main characters from the original Golden Sun, and I'm not really too familiar with all of the... Where are... There you are, Young Link. Is there a Dark... Yeah, there is a... Yeah, there's a Dark Young Link. But from what I've seen of TV tropes, apparently the original Golden Sun games were the source of some incredibly vicious shipping wars. And this guy got hated by being the child of a pairing that a lot of people didn't... Well, that... I feel like it was probably implied as the canonical pairing, but I think a lot of people were annoyed to see this pairing confirmed and not their fan favorite pairing. Don't really know what this is representing. Maybe the Fire Psy energy? Again, I have very little experience with Golden Sun. And it's kind of a shame, because I've heard they're incredibly good games, but... Oh, I haven't heard good things about the state of their fan base lately, due to... Again, not really getting an installment in a long time, and not getting a fighter in Smash Brothers. I've heard they've become very, very bitter, but again, this is just from someone on the outside looking in. It's always a shame when you want to try out a new game, but I mean, I suppose a lot of people think that of Fire Emblem. There are many people who are scared out of joining the Fire Emblem community because they've heard the fan base is infamous for being pretty hostile, and to be honest, I actually agree. Did that just say, oh, certain items? Yeah, I had a feeling it'd be Cuckoo Barrage. Wait, is this... Okay, yeah, it's Malon, not Marin from Link's Awakening. Stats up after eating. Can I cook a chicken with a fire arrow and eat it to get stats up? Don't think so, unfortunately. And Ocarina of Time medley again, my sister's favorite song in all video games. Oh, milk! Okay, then. How fitting that I'm using... Whoa, that's a high jump. I'm glad that I have a high jump spirit, because that probably saved me. Can I charge this? Oh no, cuckoo attack, cuckoo attack! Well, it's fitting for Link to be on the receiving end. Milk! Must have milk. Does it stack? I think it only works once. Oh no. And Cuckoo Storm again. But again, Ganondorf's head at you. Oh, it makes sense for Milk to show up too, because, you know, Lon Lon Ranch. For some reason, I thought that was Marin from Link's Awakening first. Okay, so that's all cleared out. It looks as though... You can only have one fire active at a time. They say that it tells the time. Don't tell me I have to have, like, an hour and minute hand pointing to the time on my system clock right now. I'm guessing not. Wait, you look like someone from Soul Calibur. Last Story, okay, that other Operation Rainfall game. Magical Vacation protagonist. I wonder what you're from. I have no idea what Magical Vacation is, though. Let's just see what this owl statue has to say. Wisdom lies, yeah, I know that. So we need to get Zelda, I guess. And she's probably there. I suppose that hint mainly exists for the purpose of people who haven't played the Zelda games. Yeah, no idea what Magical Vacation is.
Ready, go!
Soma Bringer. They seem to like using this song. Okay, so one thing I had noticed about Young Link, his reach is incredibly short. And I noticed that back in, like, Ocarina of Time as well. Young Link's always been known for having, like, a really short sword. Oh, I simply hit fall. And that went over your head, because I'm small. I almost feel like Young Link's even shorter than he was in Melee. I think Young Link was considered better than regular Link in Melee, but then again, regular Link was considered pretty bad in those games. Uh-oh. And now he's even shorter. These are all probably references. I mean, one thing I like about this world, that they put so much attention to detail into these spirits. Like, for all the references that I do get. Oh, and gone. And they're all great, so I'm assuming that all the references I don't get are also equally well-researched and equally fitting for their series. But yeah, no clue what Magical Vacation is. I don't know why, I just suddenly just thought of something, speaking of, like, references I don't get, and this sounds really bizarre, but I guess, because I don't have that much else to say at this point on this particular spirit, because again, no idea what series this is. Oh great, I'm gonna die, I hate that item. Was that, I believe it was on my commentary for the Hidden Truths chapters in Revelation, in my Fate's Revelation. Well, not so much Revelation. It happened during Revelation, but technically Hidden Truths can happen on any route. But yeah, on my commentary on that, it's like when you know, the, Laszlo, Severa, I'm mixing up the different names they go by, but anyway, those three, the Awakening Trio, basically. When Anankos was talking about rampaging, and then they're like, oh, we have a dragon friend of ours who rampages too, and then my first thought was like, oh, Tiki, obviously they're talking about Tiki. And there was so many people in the comments who got really, really mad and were like, no, they're talking about Nah. Nah rampages, and, like, I had no idea about that at all. It's partially because in the second gen of Awakening, I never really focused on getting supports aside from parent-child supports, as well as pairings within the second generation that I wanted to do. I don't really spread supports around that much. I mostly just dedicate myself to pretty much just every person's waifu and husband and their family members, and that's pretty much it. So, makes sense why I wouldn't know about that, but people seem to get quite mad about that. But I personally, like, the three of them knew Tiki, based on Future Past, and I suppose let's use the Dracula Death combo. And Tiki, according to Mystery of the Emblem, she went to sleep because she was afraid of rampaging, so I always assumed they were referring to that. But anyway, I remember these two, like, I think they had a trophy in Melee. I think they're from, like, a similar, what was it, that Hajimari no Mori? I think it's a similar thing. It's like a Japanese choose-your-own-adventure game. But this one seems to be pretty popular, because in Melee it got a few trophies, and how the heck many characters are there? Wow, there's a lot of fighters here. Probably focus. Didn't expect there to be this many fighters. Was lulled into a false sense of security by there only being one to start with. I don't really know the best application of Young Link's boomerang. I think they got a few songs too in the various Smash games, so yeah, it seems like a popular game in Japan, but I don't think it was ever released outside there. Okay, this I believe is still yes it is still Triforce Slash. Please let me defeat the main fighter to win. Obviously not. But I have a double. Oh, and speaking of double, someone else just suicided. I almost wish they gave Toon Link a different Final Smash, though, because I think now him and Young Link both share Triforce Slash. Toon Link could have, like, summoned the pirate ship and had the pirates do a whole cannon barrage or something like that. I don't know. That would have been cool. Yeah, I'm not good with Young Link at all. I wonder if he has been somewhat decoinified. No idea what you enhanced to. Oh, Dunban, hi there. Let's see what this owl statue has to say, though. First, defeat the imprisoned Pole's voice, then Stalfos. Actually, no. That hint in Link's Awakening I always found really confusing because there was no way of knowing the enemy names unless you had a guide. At least Imprisoned gave you an indicator of which one the Pole's voice was, but still. Anyway, I guess you have a Fiora supporting you. We'll suddenly have a Final Smash, melee weapons of increased power. I guess that makes sense. Was there a Dunban Mii fighter outfit? Anyway. Dunban was a pretty cool character in Xenoblade Chronicles. I think there actually is a Mii fighter out. Let me see.
Ready, go!
Oh, okay. It's a Shulk. Yeah, obviously there was a Dunban Mii fighter outfit. And that's the first time I've ever seen Shulk's Final Smash miss in this mode. But, yeah. Dunban's also kind of interesting because he starts out as a guest character and it looks as though he'll never be a permanent party member, but then he does permanently join. Because he joins at a point, like at one point he's a temporary party member and you can't change his equipment, which is usually a red flag that they're not going to be permanent, but he actually does become permanent later, it's just that he doesn't end up using the Monado. Or should I say, the Monado! That thing's gonna be mine! Ah! Imitating Metal Face is fun sometimes. Speaking of Metal Face, is he gonna show up on this stage? Don't think I've ever seen him appear in World of Light. But anyway, what more can I say? I mean, there's a character very similar to Dunban in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as like an evasion tank. I like that Xenoblade 2 has like a more of a raw physical tank and an evasion tank in the party. I know a lot of people who drop Tatsu as soon as the character similar to Dunban, because they are technically a spoiler. Not as big of a spoiler as I expected going into that game, but still. I should at least respect people who haven't played that one yet, because Xenoblade is a very spoiler-heavy series. Oh, I didn't quite double KO them. But walk off ledges! A lot of people dropped Tora once that character joined. But I still ended up using Tora quite a bit, and I have heard Tora is incredibly powerful if you play a lot of Tiger Tiger, which is a pun that's kind of lost in translation because Tiger is Tora in Japanese. Wall merged Link. That is a spirit in this mode. Okay then, it's another enhanceable too, so I guess you turn into Link Between Worlds Link. So we have Engineer Link, we have original NES Zelda Link, we have the Links who are fighters, because they all have spirits if you complete their classic modes, and we have Wall Merge Link. So 12-10. Let's see. Which is the... Well, I think the hour's hand would be shorter, so 12 hours would be... I've already got the hour hand right, actually. 5-10. Yeah, I was waiting for the sound. Impa. Makes sense for her to be guarding Zelda. Also kind of makes sense for her to be Sheik, because she is Sheikah. I actually had a figure of Impa. They released some actually pretty cool figures of Ocarina of Time characters back when that game first came out. They also came with horses. Yeah, the Impa came with young Zelda, Impa, and Zelda's horse. And I had the Ocarina of Time Link as well, which also came with Epona. And Master Sword and the Hylian Shield too. Makes sense for Deku Nuts to show up here. I mean, okay, here's a case where I don't really care about spoilers, because it's, because Smash has already kind of spoiled this game massively, but, I was always kind of pleasantly surprised to find out that Impa was one of the sages in Ocarina of Time. I legitimately didn't expect that when I first played. I knew Sheik was Zelda, but I didn't expect Impa to be one of the sages. That was pretty cool. Although in that game, it's funny, I actually think Spirit Temple is supposed to be the last temple that you do, but as Adult Link, I always did Shadow Temple last, because one, I always felt like, well, don't really know what happened there, but I won. I always felt like saving Impa last made sense. She was sort of the sage, or apart from Saria, who has kind of the closest personal connection to you. And also, I mean, the Shadow Temple, its name sounds so ominous, you've got to save it for last. I always thought of the Shadow Temple as the last one, but you're kind of expected to do this. I mean, admittedly, the Spirit Temple requires you to use both young and adult Link to solve it. I always love that. There's a dungeon in Oracle of Ages that's kind of similar, where the same dungeon exists in 2 different time periods. But, if I do play Oracle of Ages, that's the Mermaid's Cave, I'm going to be gushing about that dungeon so much because I love Mermaid's Cave. It's really good. It's one of my favorite dungeons in all of Zelda. It is a lot like Ocarina of Time Spirit Temple, though. But anyway, more Golden Sun music. Not really sure who this is representing. I haven't really played, already forgotten if this is the last story or Pandora's Tower. I think it was the last story. You can intentionally not do a full charge to have the arrow angled downward. Uh-oh. I should probably stay away from that ledge. Anytime I'd say something like that, my sister would always say in a Cockney accent, "Pull away from the edge," which is a Life on Mars reference. I don't know why, but that line always stuck with her. Okay, we're almost to... I mean, this is going to be Zelda. There's no way this isn't going to be Zelda. But who's guarding her? More skill spheres. I probably have enough to afford something else. Okay. Well, one of you is the being of wisdom. Isn't that right? So I guess that makes sense. I think willpower, emotion, and knowledge. That's it. Well, I suppose they're kind of similar. All of them tiny Mewtwo's. I remember when those 3 were all really good, and then suddenly they're all like UU or below. Azelf used to be an insanely good lead, and Mesprit used to be decent too. I think Mesprit's like really low tier now. It just goes to show how much power creep affects things. I always used to love Azelf though. My teenage self would call it the being of ownage because mine was a sort of a sweeper. It was more commonly used as a lead, but I preferred a pure sweeper one. Then again, the metagames that I played were all 3v3, so pretty much no leads at all. 3v3 with Team Preview. I've probably said this before, but everyone acted like when 5th Gen came out and like, oh, Team Preview is going to totally change the metagame and stuff. Like, I mean, I was like, dude, I've been doing all my online battling on Battle Revolution, which already had Team Preview, so, yeah, nothing changed for me. It was funny, despite there being absolutely no restrictions on Ubers at all on PPR Wi-Fi, it was still really fun. Yep, no guesses who that is. Yeah, it feels wrong using Link to fight Zelda, though. I haven't used Sheik in ages. I have heard that Sheik is one of the most nerfed characters in this game, but partially, it's kind of like... Basically, she suffered from a similar case of what... where is Sheik, anyway? There you are. She suffered from something that Melee Captain Falcon... Well, Captain Falcon transitioning from Melee to Brawl suffered from, in that... She didn't change much, but the engine changed a lot. So, and she just, like, her changes just... The changes to the engine really didn't suit her, so yeah. I've said this before, but I'm still a bit iffy on Zelda's redesign in this game. I mean, I suppose she goes with young Link kind of better, but... I don't know, I kind of preferred having adult Zelda to go with adult Link. I don't know, it kind of depends whether you consider the younger or the older versions of the characters more iconic. Since Ocarina of Time was my... I guess the first Zelda oh no, actually, yeah, no, it was Ocarina of Time. I actually played it via, I don't know if I've told this story yet of how I kind of got into... Because I've said that Oracle of Ages was my first Zelda game, and it was technically my sister's game, and I was always forced by my parents to stay one dungeon behind her, so as not to ruin the game for her, because they would never let me live down the fact that I 100% of Spyro 1, which was technically her game before she did. Yeah. One day, hopefully, I'll get her on this channel and we will do a co-op playthrough of Spyro 1 and I can finally remedy that, but... Yeah, they never let me live down the fact that I 100%ed Spyro 1 before she did, so... I was forced to stay a dungeon behind her at all times. We still don't have the third piece. But I guess that is, Ganondorf up there. Because, of course, he'd be right near the Master Sword. So, yeah, I was forced to stay a dungeon behind her, but the first Zelda that I really kind of played was Ocarina of Time, but via the Wind Waker bonus disc. I actually rented Wind Waker from my local video store, and let me see. Excuse me for 1 second while I just react to this epic instance of trolling that Sakurai has pulled on us. The true wielder of the Master Sword, Cloud. Yeah, Cloud. I've been looking forward to getting to Cloud because I've wanted to try him out for ages. I never bought his DLC, but I haven't finished my story about Zelda. But yeah, in Australia, because I think in America, the Ocarina of Time bonus disc was a pre-order bonus for Wind Waker. Not so much in Australia, they just gave it with the game. So I actually played Ocarina of Time first, and then I played Wind Waker. So that game was basically 2 games in 1 for me. And yeah, Ocarina of Time was, I guess, the first Zelda game I was really fully invested in. Though I do still love Oracle of Ages. I really want to know how to get that fighter, though. I'm really... I almost want to look that up, but... It is tempting. It's very, very, very tempting to look this up, because I'm kind of stumped on what to do here. I think I'm going to cave. Oh, well, annoyingly enough, looking at the guide spoiled me who that was, and it was something someone I genuinely didn't expect. But it turns out that there's like a secret cave somewhere. What? Oh, was that chest already open when I got here? Or was it... Wow, that's confusing. Okay then, that's a huge guide, dang it. I'm kind of glad I looked that up, because I wouldn't have thought that there'd be a secret path inside a chest. But yes, this is Chrom. So, 2 swordsmen. I'm not going to call them anime swordsmen, because I hate that term. But yeah, 2 swordsmen that I haven't actually played as yet, but I kind of want to. Yeah, let's do this. Time to show Father what we've learned. So, I don't know if I've probably already made my thoughts on Chrom pretty... No, let's not do that. Let's have a fair fight. And, well, Chrom gets id purpose here, but he doesn't get as his victory theme.
Ready? Go!
I already know that he got id purpose as his fighter theme, though, because because I've already unlocked Chrom via challenges approach at this point. Okay, he's kind of fast, but anyway. So let me just say one thing. There's a lot of people who are like, oh, why is Chrom a Roy Echo? Why isn't he an Ike Echo? Me personally, I'm glad he's a Roy Echo. In fact, I probably would have been angry if he was an Ike Echo. I think being a Roy Echo fits Chrom so much more than being an Ike Echo ever would. Throw that away, because again, I want to keep this a fair fight. Even though I'm kind of destroying him already, and I'm using a fairly strong spirit. I didn't quite kamikaze. And that's probably, yep, there he goes. So yeah. Because in Chrom's home game, in Awakening, his stat build was being slightly above average in strength, skill, speed, and defense. And that fits Roy's Lightning Bruiser playstyle in Smash Bros. Perfectly. Just, Chrom is not a Mighty Glacier like Ike at all. He's just kind of a little above average in everything, and that really fits being a Roy Echo to me. So, I am glad at what they did with Chrom. Like, honestly, I didn't want Chrom to be in this game. Again, I'm fitting the Lord of Salt by saying that, but I didn't. But I was pleasantly surprised when he turned out to be a Roy Echo, not an Ike Echo. Okay, so before I fight Cloud, I'm going to say something. I'm going to cut the audio here and play my own music over this, because I'm going to object to the fact that Square Enix only gave Cloud 2 songs, and that both of those are non-remixes. So, let's fight you with Chrom. I guess Matthew Mercer has been in a Final Fantasy game now as, Corleonis, I believe his name was, in Final Fantasy 15. Most of the characters in that game just blur together to me, because that game's story was just incredibly unmemorable to me personally, but yeah. Anyway, let's see, which Chrom should I use? Yeah, there is a completely Owain Chrom, so let's go with that. I've never played Final Fantasy VII, I was always waiting for a remake, and honestly, it wasn't so much because, the reason why I refused to play 7 was because I don't think its translation is very good, and I'm just used to modern Final Fantasy. I think it was Final Fantasy VIII was the first Final Fantasy to have, like, a really solid translation overall, and I know some Ted Woolsey fans can get mad, but I think even... Really? Really? A lot of people have nostalgia for the Woolsey translations, but I've looked at Legends of Localization's comparison between that and the GBA translation, and wow, the original SNES translation was just bad in a lot of respects. It completely mistranslated a lot of lines. But let us have Chrom pull out the Master Sword. Are they going to play the sound? Oh, it's a giant triangle! That's cool. I was wondering where the boss was. So this whole area is shaped like the Triforce, that's awesome. I guess I can use Chrom for a few more matches and then switch to Cloud. Oh, I am running a little low on time here. I've had a lot of long parts lately. I don't know what it is with the Dark World and having parts be longer. Ironically, I'm defeating spirits faster, too. So what do we have here? Ascend? Oh, I haven't even used Zelda either. Mega Mewtwo Y. Not really sure who that fighter is. Or that other one. Of course you're Mewtwo when you have a sudden Final Smash. But, yeah, I was waiting for a remake, but I'm still not sure what to feel about FF7 Remake because it's going to be an action RPG. Like, to be honest, I don't really like Square Enix's current push to everything needs to be an action RPG now. And I've always just thought, what's wrong with turn-based RPGs? And I played Shin Megami Tensei and Persona showed that it can still be really enjoyable. Oh no. Good thing there was a ledge up there to catch me. Just realized too late that my up B does not work like Lucina's does. Oh, also, I have not played as Roy at all. So I'm actually using his Echo before him, and so... I'm actually kind of... Like this, for example. This kind of sword uppercutty thing. Not familiar with that at all, because I've never actually played Roy in Smash 4. Oh no. Well, I dodged that at least. So yeah, I'm playing as someone's Echo before I'm playing as that character themselves. Which is a kind of an odd experience. Come on, you should go down. Chrom's supposed to be pretty powerful. There we go. Sorry, I've completely forgotten what I was saying for a second there, but... Yeah, again, I'm not really... I mean, I like Kingdom Hearts, I like Nier Automata, I like a lot of action RPGs, but I just don't think that everything needs to be an action RPG. Square Enix nowadays seems to think that no one wants to play turn-based games anymore. Hi there, spoiler! Thank you so much, Smash Brothers, for never caring about spoilers. Here I was, going on about not spoiling Xenoblade, and then that happened. I know you're from Ever Oasis, which I've actually heard good things about. So yeah, let's do this. I guess as for my thoughts on Chrom himself as a character, I probably already got into my thoughts on Awakening, but in the Awakening playthrough itself, well, this is gonna be fun. Goodbye. I feel like Chrom, I don't know, I'm not really the biggest fan of Chrom as a character. They kind of tried to combine both the Marth type of Lord and the Hector type into one, but it was kind of overshadowed by some of their goofier traits that are displayed in support combat. But admittedly, a lot of Awakening is just kind of goofy. Like, a lot of the characters have goofy elements to them. That's kind of what Awakening is like.
Ready? Go!
But it was also that Chrom got totally overshadowed by the Avatar in the final act of the story. And also Lucina. I feel like, because Lucina's talks a lot during the Valm arc. So that's a goodbye, but you actually survived. Okay, yeah, not having any experience playing Roy is making playing as Chrom very, very strange, because I'm used to Lucina and Marth, and even Ike, and Chrom plays like none of them, so I've heard he's supposed to be good, but this is a strange experience. But yeah, anyway. I know there are a ton of people who like Chrom, and they're the ones who wanted him in Smash. Once again, an incredibly powerful pseudo-legendary Pokemon's only a 2-star spirit, because apparently only legendary Pokemon get to be higher than 2 stars in this game. But yeah, I've never really been the biggest fan of Chrom. Admittedly, it's kind of like what I was saying about Linebeck earlier. What's the explosion when I fully charge this? I'm kind of wondering what that's like. Yeah, but you're not going to let me fully charge it, are you? I guess I can try now. Nope, didn't get it off. See, I expect to have a side B like Ike, but I don't. But yeah, it's kind of like the sheer amount of times that he's treated more as a lust object for female players than as an actual character. Though to be fair, the same could be said of Lucina and of Cordelia and of Tharia and of a ton of people in Awakening. But I feel like Chrom gets it the most because it's just like, it is, I've said this at the start of my Awakening playthrough, but it's no exaggeration to say that 99% of female avatars marry Chrom, and I just wish there was more variety in female avatar pairings across the people who played the game. Because at least with male, you can't really narrow it down to one. You've got Lucina, Cordelia, Tharia, Tiki, all of them are reasonably popular, but with female, it's pretty much just Chrom. Oh, you're Urbosa, aren't you? I completely forgot about... Oh, that being lightning makes sense, though. Like, I didn't even pay attention to who you were at all. And mid-air KO. Yeah, you were Urbosa. I do like the lightning helm. I like how you could just run into a horde of enemies and weaponize lightning. Like, just give yourself as many metal weapons as possible and then charge into a horde of enemies like that. Tank. Kirby series, okay. I probably should switch to Cloud, but I might do that at the start of the next part, maybe. Not really sure how I'm going to split these up, because I feel like once I've finished this, I've actually completed the entire Dark World. Where am I? There I am, I'm tiny. This stage is interesting. Especially when, yeah, this is one of those stages that people with small TVs probably hate. But, anyway. So yeah, I don't know, sorry if I sound like I'm being overly negative on Chrom. I'm not, like, I don't hate him as a character or anything. Like, again, really the only Fire Emblem character, well, I guess Shinnon, but, I mean, Shinnon's at least good in gameplay. I mean, this is an incredibly unpopular opinion, but the only Fire Emblem character I feel legitimate hatred towards is Henry. So, most characters in the series, I mean, a playable character. Of course, there are enemies that I feel legitimate hatred towards, but that's an entirely different issue. Like, it's more like I would have accepted Henry's personality on an enemy, just not someone on your side. And people act like Perry is infinitely worse, but to me she's exactly the same, but that's a whole other can of worms. Anyway. Okay, I have my final smash at least. And it's a sideways ether, which makes sense. Speaking of which, come and get your daily dose of sideways ether. No. But at least I got you into the blast zone. I mean, I could say more about why I don't like Henry, but I don't want to make this video too negative. Okay, we have you, and you know what? I think now's probably a good time to switch over to the other side, and I'm going to be ending this recording session and starting a new one. However, I think I might actually be splitting this up differently to how I've recorded it, because once again, I feel like once we've done this, that'll be the end of the Dark World, and then we'll transition directly into the final world, probably. So, yeah.